And each new season brings about new stars, players who go from maybe like a relatively unknown name to a household name. And we've got some predictions for who those players might be this upcoming season. And Nico's going to give us his best 11 of projected breakout stars. But first, let's take a look back on some of the stars that broke out last season. Each of you picked a player, and Aaron, you're going to kick us off.
Yeah, mine is none other than Myles Lewis-Skelly from Arsenal, 18-year-old. You can call him a defender. He's naturally a midfielder, can play in the 6 or the 8, but he broke through as a left back this season, 39 appearances across all competitions. Wasn't dribbled past once in the Premier League. Wow. A fantastic one-on-one defender, team defender. The way that he breaks lines with the ball at his feet, his passing range, his maturity levels, just an incredible player already. And I think he has a wildly high ceiling. I love watching this kid play. I love every interview I've seen from him. I'm just a massive Myles Lewis-Skelly fan. All right, Tone, you're next.
I went with Huijsen, a 20-year-old. He's the one that got away at Juve, right? The one that they sold for $20 million. The one that Thiago Motta and Giuntoli didn't want at the club, and they sold him to Bournemouth on a 6-year deal for $20 million. And now Real, his option was triggered, right, for a little over $60 million. So this is a guy, when you talk about guys that will be in a position for 10 years, this is the kind of guy you talk about. Way ahead of his game. Remember, he started in the Netherlands youth national team system and then moved over to play for Spain. I think he's got 4 or 5 caps now with the team, but he'll be around for a long time.
All right, Nico, who was your breakout player from last season?
Yeah, for me, it's Tijjani Reijnders, and it depends how you interpret breakout, right? Because I think at AZ Alkmaar in a Conference League run, he showed that he had the quality, but he went from being an important player for Milan to being their best player. And to be the best player at Milan, I think he was like the one salvaging point from the entire season last season for Milan. And to be that guy, you need to be good. He has a lot of quality, so much so that Pep went, all right, he's coming with me. He's really good, and there's still so much upside to him. He's got a lot of quality. Okay, so for everybody watching this on YouTube, we want to know who your breakout players from this last season were. So drop those in the comments. But it's now time for our preseason breakout best 11, Nico. And you're going to take us through line by line. And we're focusing first on the goalkeeper position. Yeah, so it's very difficult to visualize, right, who's going to break out. This is an inkling of who we might think could take their game to the next level. It could be from being a nobody to being a somebody, or from being a somebody
to that guy.
Right? And I think, for example, the three of ours have fulfilled that in different ways, right? So let's go with the goalkeeper. From everybody, I chose Trafford. Goalkeeper playing in the Championship, extraordinary defense all around for Burnley, right? Funny enough, he's now at Manchester City. We don't know what's going to happen with Ederson. Those rumors have gone a little bit quiet. But if he is to play at Manchester City, where he came out of the academy from, by the way, there could be a massive upside. I don't know if it's going to be this specific season if he doesn't play, but if he does, he is a good goalkeeper, Tone.
I like that shout.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. And they bought him back for twice as much as they sold him. So that's always interesting business, right? Yeah. A couple of years later. But what a phenomenal season he had last year.
Well, and Burnley in particular were the best defensive team, breaking records left and right. And while, yes, Trafford did have a good defense in front of him, he did also have to come up big in some moments as well.
And he's a prototypical City keeper. He's great with the ball at his feet. He's very, very comfortable coming off his line. He controls his box. I think this guy, if Ederson is going to leave in the next year or so, I think they are fine in goal with Trafford.
Yeah, what was the shutout streak again? Like something crazy. JJ Watt almost came out of retirement over it because Burnley just kept putting up clean sheets week after week. It was actually insane. All right, coming up next, Tony, you've got your goalkeeper nominees.
Yeah, I've got a couple here. Lucas Chevalier, we know his name now. I think, of course, the Lille goalkeeper, because the rumors of him going to PSG and them deciding that he's the guy that they're going to put in goal after Donnarumma helped them win Champions League. So I think he's a guy that is going to be on the radar here. It seems like that one is really, really close. If it's not, it's still a name that we know about now. 23 years old. Interesting fact. Only one error last year leading to a goal for a goalkeeper.
Wow.
And I'm going to jump over here with that stat to Carnesecchi next, who recently got called into the Italian national team. This is Atalanta's goalkeeper. Big frame, big shot stopper. Not credited with an error the entire season, which for me is mind-boggling for a goalkeeper because so many things happen, right? And you're going to make a mistake along the way. We see it all the time. It happens with everybody. So one error between these two guys. And the guy in the middle, I think we know about. For me, a breakout year. Last couple years have been incredible for Matt Freese. I called last year for him to be an MLS All-Star team. He didn't even get a shout. He is now put his name forward as a potential starter at the World Cup, depending on what happens with Matt Turner. I think at the moment, he's the guy for Mauricio Pochettino. Had a decent Gold Cup, one big error he had but that's part, again, of growing. But I think a guy that most people around the U.S. know now that maybe didn't know prior to this, so Matt Freese got my shout here.
Yeah, that motivation for sure is going to be there for Freese with that World Cup fast approaching as well. Okay, let's move it forward now to the defensive line, Nico.
Yeah, so these are my 4 defenders. Luis Henrique, who was at Marseille, now he's at Inter. Leoni from Parma, very young. Keep an eye out for him.
Like him, Nico.
Right.
Him.
And he's so young, I feel like he can take an even bigger step this season with Parma since they're safe. I want to, though, focus on Mosquera. You see him in an Arsenal kit.
Okay with that.
Moments ago, like days ago, he was in a Valencia kit. Valencia didn't do great. It's a club that's kind of just treading water at the moment, but he was a silver lining to their season. A very young Spanish center back with Colombian heritage. He's got a good frame on him, but he's also versatile. He can play right back. He can play center back. So when Arsenal really need a little bit of depth defensively, when their lack of defensive depth kind of did them in last season, this guy is someone that you can rely on. I think he's really good, and he won a gold medal for Spain. Didn't play so much in that gold medal winning run, but he's good. I think there's massive potential for this guy to be a stalwart moving forward.
Okay, so all good looks.
Sorry, and then I just wanted to mention Barco, the last one before we get into more. Barco for Strasbourg. He's a guy that came out of Boca and then couldn't really find his footing, not even at Brighton, not even at Sevilla when he went out on loan. But at Strasbourg, he did find a place. Not only at left back, but at center midfield too, which shows the quality, kind of like a Myles Lewis-Skelly type of player. Crafty, quality, so I threw him into the back line.
All right, and Aaron, I know you put together some other nominees for a breakout season on the defensive side.
I did. Let's take a look at those. Number 1, I'm going to start with Connor Bradley from Liverpool. He's got big shoes to step into with Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving, but I think he's perfectly set up to do that. At 22 years old, he made 29 appearances for Liverpool last year, but he's the prototypical fullback, whereas Trent Alexander-Arnold he'll slide into midfield, he'll play those long balls, he's kind of an all-around, all-action, more of a midfielder than a fullback. Connor Bradley will stay wide. He's very, very good defending 1v1. He can get up and down the wings. He's got a great engine, a good body on him, great tackler overall, but I think he will lock down that right side for Liverpool for a few years to come.
Okay.
More than Frimpong?
I honestly I don't look at Frimpong as a right back. I think that Frimpong will often play as maybe as a right winger. I think he'll play in some games as a right back, but I think in long term, Connor Bradley is a better fullback than Frimpong overall, and I think as the season goes, we'll probably see that because Frimpong is a little bit suspect defensively, and I say a little bit. You can take that with a grain of salt. Moving on to Lenny Yoro from Manchester United. He made 33 appearances last year. He's had some issues with injuries, but a brilliant center back, big frame, reads the game really well, so comfortable with the ball at his feet. He can play in the high line. He's very athletic. He can win balls in the air. He can run in behind. And still, at 19 years old, I think he has so much to grow. He can still be a little bit rash in the tackle, but you can see in the way that he reads the game that he's going to be a player. I think under Ruben Amorim in that back 3 system where he'll be a little bit more secure. He knows what his job will be. I think he's going to have a really, really good season. We talk about center backs, young center backs. You cannot go anywhere but mention Pau Cubarsí. This kid, we talked a lot about the La Liga all-time 11. He might be Gerard Piqué reincarnated. The way that he is so calm in possession, the way that he already leads this defense. He made 56 appearances for Barcelona last year across all competitions. More than 4,000 minutes, and we know Barcelona trusts their youth ad infinitum. This guy can be trusted. He's so calm. He rarely puts a foot wrong, rarely makes a mistake, and I think that we're going to see him at the top of the game for 10 plus years.
It's amazing when you trust young players, center backs, right? Because you trust forwards because you can make a mistake 70 yards from goal and it's okay. You lose the ball and you've got a lot of cover, but when you trust center backs, you know they're really good. Yeah,
so true. Well, here's another look at the projections that Nico's got for breakout stars. Nico first with the midfield.
Yeah, we're going to go with our two holding midfielders, with Carlos Baleba and Samuele Ricci. Baleba was very good at Brighton, week in, week out, yet another jewel that they found somewhere and been able to develop. His ceiling is phenomenal. He's really good on the ball. He's very consistent. And Samuele Ricci getting that big move from Torino to Milan. This is a really big year for him. And this Milan reinvented, right? Because it's going to be Ricci, Modric, Fofana in that midfield. And we'll see how that works out. Throw in Tijjani, who just came over from Club Brugge. I think this kid's got it, and he's young, so let's see what comes of it.
Incredible passing range at all dimensions. I think the one thing he has to add to his game is maybe some assists in his game, right? He's not a very good, well, I shouldn't say very good. He doesn't look long very much. He's going to have Rafa Leao to spring on breaks, Christian Pulisic, so that part of the game hopefully grows for him.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps with some of the pieces he'll have in front of him to get on the end of those. Who else do you have in the midfield, Nico?
Yeah, and then I guess we're going for the three up top. I kind of had to rework the lineup a little bit because I did have too many wingers, especially at such a hot position nowadays. I got Igor, Paixão out left, Magnus, Akliouche, and Estêvão. I think for Monaco, you can throw in several Monaco players. I don't know why. They've got a lot of youth talent, including Ben Seguir. I think you can make the same arguments that I am making about Akliouche. Silver or medal winner with France at the Olympics. Ben Seguir, the Moroccan international, so good, so crafty, but I chose Akliouche, who's a little bit older and might need to shoulder that goal-scoring responsibility a little bit more. There's one more Monaco player that I'm throwing in here, but before we get there, Igor Paixão, recently purchased by Marseille after a sensational season for Feyenoord. He was scoring in the Champions League, but moreover, out of all the players up top for Feyenoord, Igor Paixão was the main guy. You had Haj Musa on the right, Igor Paixão on the left, and Ueda up top, the Japanese goal scorer. But if he wasn't on it, it felt like the team just took a significant step back, and rarely he was off of it.
His end game was better than Musa on the right-hand side, right? His end game, the work in the final third, we saw it throughout the Champions League. He's got an interesting season coming up.
Okay, well, I want to hear some of your nominees, but before we do that, let's see who you've picked at striker. You've got this team lined up in like a 4-2-3-1. So who do you have up top?
Yeah, so Estêvão on the right, we've talked at length about the young Brazilian at Chelsea, but I'm choosing to lead my lines Mika, Biereth at Monaco, another Monaco player. I mean, he came over in January from Sturm Graz and smashed it, scored hat-trick after hat-trick. Like, they forgot that they had Flo Balogun injured. Talk about transition, it was seamless, right? No adaptation period. One of those players that came, 13 goals, 3 assists in 19 games since January, and this is just for Monaco. Forget about his Sturm Graz. So it's not technically 2024, 2025, it's only 2025, right? He was extraordinary, so hopefully that keeps on coming for Monaco. And now with a healthy Flo Balogun, maybe a little bit more competition in this position, both of them brush up a little bit more, but hopefully he does become a household name.
Okay, this is a good-looking group. What do you boys
Biereth
think?
has had a wild career path as well. He was an Arsenal youth player. He went to RKC Waalwijk in Netherlands. Then he went to Scotland to play for Motherwell, and then he went to Austria to play for Sturm Graz. So this man's European passport has stamps all over the place.
Tone?
If you have Motherwell on your resume, that's like a badge of honor, I think. So I picked a couple of attacking players. The first one that came to mind, I thought about Gold Cup, his work at Tijuana, is Gilberto Mora and what he's done this summer. all-timer. Youngest player to score ever in Liga MX at 16 years old. Youngest player to score for the Mexican national team. Youngest player to have an assist. Barcelona, Manchester City are all looking at him right now, and I think he's not very long for being in Europe at one of the top clubs and making his way. A guy that loves to dribble through tight spaces. He's a really good passer. He's got a little bit of everything. And
he had his Mexico national team breakout before he really had a breakout season with Xolos.
And Xolos now 5 games, already 2 goals to his name, and he's 16. He looks like a youngster when you see him play, but then when you watch him, boy, he is so comfortable on the ball. It's fun to watch. I'll go to Nwaneri next. Of course, I think Arsenal fans would know him. Filled in quite a bit for Saka on the right-hand side. I think he's ready, though, to take the next step. He may move into the midfield now because obviously Saka's back and he doesn't have to bear that responsibility. But again, another player, smooth on the ball, was 15 years old when he first appeared in the Premier League.
Yeah,
youngest
crazy
player ever in the Premier League. It just blows your mind. And I think he's primed for a really big role with this team. And even last year when Saka came back and we sat here, Arsenal fans are kind of pining to get him on the field. Like, yeah, I mean, you would know better than I.
Yeah, he's got I think the ceiling is through the roof, like Michael Jordan would say. This kid can fill in for Saka. He can play on the right side. He can play in the 8. He can play in the 10. He's so comfortable on the ball. He's physically strong, got that low center of gravity, so he can't really be bullied. I feel like all of these Hale-end kids that come through, they're so physically set to play as professionals, and he's another one of them. He seems to have a really, really cool head on his shoulders. He wants the ball. There's a video of him before he scores the goal against Manchester City. He doesn't get the ball. He's like, I need it. Finally gets the ball, and he does something with it. Scores a brilliant goal. This kid's full of confidence, and he's full of confidence because he has the ability.
Yeah, seeing that confidence in young players is always really special and makes you think that they really have some of that mentality that's right and to prime them for a breakout campaign. Okay, you've got some other nominees for the midfield position.
Yeah, I've got some central midfielders I want to talk about. Nico Paz. This Como team, I think, was a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, the way that they play under Cesc Fabregas, and he was one of the key players for them. 35 appearances across all comps for Como. 6 goals, 8 assists. Really technically proficient. He's got a pretty big frame. He works really, really hard on both sides of the ball, unafraid to put a boot in. He will track back. He's got a really good eye for a pass. Chips in with goals. I think at 20 years old, he's got a lot of room to grow. I'm really interested to see how he progresses this season with people knowing a little bit more about him, knowing about the danger he presents. So it's a big season for him, especially in that Como midfield.
And especially looking towards 2026 for the World Cup for Argentina.
Big. It pains me to do this, but I got to pick a Spurs player, Lucas Bergvall, the 19-year-old. This kid, I think, has a really bright future. He's got, again, the big frame. He's got a little bit of a nasty streak in him. He can put a boot in. Engine covers a lot of ground. Plays, his passing range is really good. I think that he's still got to work a little bit on his positional sense, a little bit on some of the rashness of his tackles, but he's 19 years old. That will come. He's a fantastic player. I think winning a trophy will only help build the platform that is for him. James Maddison being out this year for Spurs will mean he's got to step up again in a big way. And finally, last but not least, Pablo Barrios from Atletico, Spanish midfielder, 44 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists across all competitions. The quintessential Diego Simeone midfielder, runs his socks off, nasty streak, puts a boot in, but he has that creative side. He's play.
He's got quality.
He's got a lot of quality. I think he'll be in that Atleti midfield for some time to come because they don't really let go of jewels when they know what they've got. And I think this guy will be one of the fixtures for La Liga for some years.
And for him to have that breakout season, like he was already good last season, right? You get rid of Rodrigo de Paul and you really need to step up and be the face of that Atletico Madrid
100%.
midfielder. Doesn't matter who you're paired with, he's going to be the stalwart, right? Throughout the season, and for him to take his game to the next level, it'll be a significant growth.
I'm pushing buttons over here.
I think Tony just
My Siri thing is going on. I have no idea what's going on here.
Remote of the day for you.
I'm hearing noises that I've never heard before.
Tone, we gotta limit your screen time or something after this. Okay, well, these are all really good picks. Let's take another look at Nico's predicted breakout 11. Okay, if you had to pick one of these guys that you would put money on, like no doubt this is gonna be the big breakout player, who would it be?
I'll tell you mine before he tells you his. Carlos Baleba. I put him in my list before Nico did, and I was told in email that I had to take it out because he had him in his 11. But you know what? I'm not upset because he has so much quality. Brighton's eye for talent seems to be unmatched recently, and this guy's a centerpiece for their midfield. Probably going to be a large fee transfer in the next couple years, but he's their next Caicedo. I think that he has so much talent, so much ability, and can grow.
Okay.
For me, it's Estêvão. If I had to choose one, he's so talented. Got a knack for goal too. You look at the last 2 youngsters that Palmeiras has let go or that sold. And Henrique and Estêvão, I think Estêvão has a bigger upside than Henrique.
Yeah, I was going to go Estêvão. Just wonder how much he's going to play this year.
Right, that's the question, right?
So I'm going to go Akliouche, right? I love the way they play. I love the way he roams underneath the forward and can actually run by people. I would have gone there only for the fear of maybe this year he doesn't see the minutes. And you mentioned Henrique, sort of looks like Henrique at the end, his stat lines, you know, so I'll go Akliouche.
Okay, it's crazy how young some of these guys look. I know, like, you're talking breakout projections. Well, of course, a lot of them are going to be young. A lot of them do look really, really young. Okay, we want to know what your predictions are for breakout player of the upcoming season, so drop those in the comments below.